Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan. Back when I made my first of these 3 Peter Dinklage videos a few weeks ago, I never thought I'd make 3 of them in a row, but this is the story that just never keeps getting more interesting. It's like an onion where you keep peeling layer after layer after layer off and you find more weirdness to a story. It seemed like a really basic cut and dry why I'm no longer vegan video.
But you don't eat meat.
I think I've been to 4.
I do now. You know why? Because of Thrones. I started eating fish and chicken again on that show. Because
why?
Vegetarian. You see, not see, sorry. It's because vegetarian in Croatia.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
You cannot do it.
Yeah. Really tired on set. And I was like,
And as I showed in my prior 2 videos, I am highly skeptical of Peter's claim there that it's pretty much impossible to be meat-free in Croatia. So you might be thinking, what more can Ryan say here? I thought he was pretty thorough in his prior 2 videos. And yes, I thought I was too, until I learned about these articles on PETA.org and Live Kindly, both making the same extraordinary claim that there's a whole ton of actors on Game of Thrones who were meat-free. So if this were true, it would cast more doubt on Peter's claim that it's impossible to be meat-free in Croatia if all these other actors were meat-free and maybe even vegan, as these articles are saying. So let's have a look here and see what was really going on. Were there really all these vegan or meat-free actors on the set with Peter back when Game of Thrones was being made? So first of all, it turns out that Peter Dinklage was not the only actor from Game of Thrones to make a video for PETA about the rights of animals.
I actually fell in love with somebody at college who was a vegan. And she brought me some PETA leaflets, it was educational stuff about the way animals are treated, and I had no idea. Because I was always an animal lover, but we're not really educated to link the food on our plate to the animals that we love.
So some of you skeptics might be saying, well, that's nice and all what he's saying, but does he do something about it? Has he made some changes in his life to actually be vegan?
Veganism suits me very well. I don't miss meat at all, and I feel great. I believe I'm healthier than most guys my age.
So yeah, 2 things. Yeah, first of all, he said he's vegan, he identified as being vegan, and he notices the health benefits that come from being older and eating a diet of just plants, as I can attest to as well.
And I think that education is everything. Once we start learning about the truth of how we treat our animals, that's what is going to force the change to make people think differently, about what they're putting in their stomachs.
So let's take stock of Jerome Flynn's story here, how he went vegan, or at least vegetarian, back in college at the age of 18, and what consequences this has on Peter Dinklage's claim that it was impossible for him to be vegetarian on the set of Game of Thrones in Croatia. So in my mind, there's only 2 ways this can really work out. Either that Peter Dinklage was right and that it's impossible to be vegetarian in Croatia, and that him and Jerome and all the other people who were eating plant-based before Game of Thrones had to unwillingly eat meat on the set of Game of Thrones. According to Jerome, though, we've heard nothing like that. He sounds like he's been continuously meat-free since the age of 18. So the only other option for me is that still Peter Dinklage's story about the impossibility of being meat-free in Croatia is highly doubtable. To further support my skepticism of Peter Dinklage's claim, let's look at the story of Natalie Emanuel.
The actor and budding athlete adopted a plant-based diet in 2013. A friend studying nutrition inspired her to ditch animal products, as her family's medical history seemed daunting. She told Women's Health, "We've had lots of conditions in the family, which made me want to take control over what I put in my body. So I ate vegan for 1 week at first. I would have reassessed if it made me feel really ill, but it made me feel really good. So I carried on for another week, and then I felt even better." She has been vegan ever since.
So is she really vegan like that video asserts? As we heard, Natalie got into the diet for health reasons. Did the ethical component ever catch on? I don't know. But to me, for the purposes of this story, it doesn't really matter, because all we're talking about here is eating a meat-free diet, in this case a vegetarian or vegan diet, that's supposedly impossible to be found in Croatia. So as we heard in the video there, Natalie started eating a vegan diet in 2013, during the time of Game of Thrones. So now we have no less than 3 3 actors on the set of Game of Thrones who don't eat meat. But wait, we're not done. There's still more. We have yet another actress on the set of Game of Thrones who is fully vegan, teenage actress Bella Ramsey. And on her own personal social media, Bella identifies as vegan and said she started a vegan lifestyle back in 2017. Game of Thrones was being filmed right then too. But are there really 7 vegans or vegetarians on the set of Game of Thrones like this article's headline says? Well, no, if you read it closely, there's 7 total between the vegans, vegetarians, and the animal rights advocates. But yeah, I checked out the bios of the other actors and actresses in these articles, and yeah, indeed, they were animal rights advocates, but they weren't eating a vegan or vegetarian diet. So the article's headline is a little misleading, but technically it's true. There are no less than 7 vegan, vegetarian, and animal advocate actors on the set of Game of Thrones, with no less than 4 of these actors and actresses eating vegan or vegetarian diets, meaning that 4 big actors on this big show needed to have their dietary requirements catered to. I can't imagine all 4 of these actors and actresses just saying, it's just impossible to be vegan or vegetarian in Croatia, especially given the fact, as I showed in my previous videos, how easy it is to find plant-based foods in Croatia. It's not an impossible endeavor as Peter Dinklage made it sound like it was. So you can see why I'm having a lot of trouble believing Peter Dinklage when he says that.
Because vegetarian in Croatia
is impossible.
Yeah.
You cannot do it.
Yeah.
And I want to be clear, I'm not calling out Peter Dinklage for being a bad person. I'm not saying you should hate him, and if you're a fan of his, you should start hating him and don't watch his stuff anymore. Nothing of the sort. I'm just looking at what he said here through the lens of evidence-based information and critical thinking and coming to my own conclusion. Why? Because I really want to know if what he was saying there about it being impossible to be vegetarian or vegan in Croatia was true or false, and all the evidence I'm getting is showing that what he's saying here wasn't true. So I'm not sure why he's saying this. My best and educated guess is that there's something else going on with Peter and he didn't fully share it with us. Then he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to explain every detail in his life. He's his own private person. He could share as much or as little with the rest of the world as he wants. So all I'm saying, haters, listen up before you attack me in the comments. All I'm saying is that given that there's 4 meat-free actors on the set of Game of Thrones over the years, it just seems really hard to believe Peter's excuse or reason that it was impossible for him to find meatless foods while in Croatia while filming Game of Thrones, that he was forced to eat meat, and strangely when he got back home to the United States, didn't immediately switch back to his ethics-based diet. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me, and that's why I'm making this video. So again, please don't attack me. I think I have every right to respond and react to this. You know, vegans have free speech rights, because a lot of people wrote me saying I shouldn't be talking about this. I didn't know vegans had to abide by some new rules of free speech that don't apply to non-vegans or some kind of second-class citizens. So anyway, let me know down below what you thought of this story. I promise, unless something mind-blowing happens in the next few days, this will be my final installment of the Peter Dinklage no longer vegan story. But yeah, comment down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you thought what your guess is, your best guess as to why he stopped eating just plants and started eating meat and never went back. Do you think it had anything to do with what he said about the unavailability of plant foods in Croatia? Let me know if you know more about these other actors and actresses from Thrones that I just talked about here. Like I told you before, I didn't really watch the show, so I really don't know too much about who's on the show, the actors and stuff. So let me know if you know more details than I do. I'd love to hear. And let me know if I should keep my mouth shut. Do vegans have certain restrictions placed on us that others don't have, and I can't respond in a fair, respectful, evidence-based, critical thinking-based manner to when people make claims that I find really hard to believe? So comment on that down below. So yeah, hit like, share this video, and if you really think I'm a horrible, mean person and I'm bashing, I'm attacking him, and I should keep my mouth shut and just stay quiet because that's what vegans need to do, come to my Friday live streams, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and give me your argument as to why I have fewer rights than you do. I'll listen. Just be civil and decent, and we can have a conversation. So until next time, guys, remember, it doesn't suck being vegan.